of a function is this one? And then how do you see it? What kind of a function is this one? So we have y is equal to 2x minus 4. It is a function. And then what kind of a function it is? That's what we first have to find out. What kind of a function is this one? It's a straight line. Okay, how do you see a straight line? That's very important. How would you see a straight line? How do you see the straight line? So basically it talks about y is equal to mx plus y plus c. But at the same time, this is what is important. You're going to look at the x. Yeah? The x should be on the numerator, number one. Yeah? X should be on the numerator. Number two, x should be to the power of 1. So it should satisfy both conditions. X numerator, x should be to the power of 1. Then we consider that one to be a straight line. Does that make sense? So if I give you something like this, let's say I have number 1, y is equaling to x all over 2. Can this be a straight line? Let's check what is it that we spoke about. How do you see a straight line? X should be on the numerator. Okay, let's check. Is x on the numerator? X on the numerator. Okay, it satisfies the first condition. What else for us to say it's a straight line? X should be to the power of 1. Let's check the exponent of x here. What is the exponent of x here? 1. It's 1. So is it a straight line? Yes, it is a straight line because we have x numerator and then we also have x to the power of what? Of 1. I will still screw there. Okay, let's check something then. Let's look at this one. Now this one here, we have the highest power of x is 2. Highest power of x is what is 2. So if we have the highest power of x to be 2, it changes from being a straight line, it becomes what we call a quadratic function. If you don't want to say quadratic, we call it a parabolic function. So let's look at this one. What is the difference between this one and this one? X should also be on the numerator. Yeah? X should be on the numerator. But this one has x to the power of 1, the highest degree of x. The biggest exponent that you can have for x is going to be 1. Now, what is the biggest degree for this one here? The biggest degree for x is going to be equal to what? 2. So this one makes it no longer to be a straight line, but to be what? To be a parabolic function. But I was still fine. Yes. So if I give you something like this, let's check number 2. If I say I have y, which is going to be equaling to x squared all over 2. What kind of a function is this one? It is a parabolic. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, let's check. Number 1, the variable should be on the numerator. Okay, the variable is on the numerator. Good. The highest degree of this variable is 2. So it makes it to be what? A parabolic function. We're still fine. Let's try number 3. If you look at number 3, we have our variable on the denominator. Did you see that? So if you have the variable, which is x on the denominator, and then the highest degree of this thing here, it should be 1. It should be 1. So this one here, we call it a hyperbolic function because the variable is going to be on the what? On the denominator. So if I give you something that looks like this, so we have y, which is equaling to 2 all over x. Can this be a straight line? It usually confuses learners. You see this one of a parabolic function is fine because of the square. But this one in a straight line, it confuses learners. Let's look at number 1. Number 1, x is on the numerator. Number 2, x is on the what? Number 3, x is on the what? On the denominator. So because x is on the denominator, but the power is exactly the same. This one is power 1, and then this one is also what? Power 1. So it makes number 3 to be a hyperbolic function, not a straight line, because the variable is on the what? On the denominator. What if I give you something like this? Let's try this. 4. Let's say I say y is going to be equaling to x plus 2 all over 2. What kind of a function is this? Straight line. X is on the numerator.
Yes.
Okay, sharp. X is on the numerator. And then let's check the power of X. It's 1. So it makes this one to be. Are you sure?
Yes.
So it makes it to be a straight line.
Yes.
Okay, and then last but not least, we have the following function. Now, what can you tell me? What is the difference with this function from the 3 that I just gave you here? The x is an index.
Yes.
Yeah, index also known as the exponent. If you don't want to call it this thing here an exponent, you can call it what? An index. So all the functions that we're talking about, x was the base, x was the base, x was the base, Anish. All of a sudden we have this one whereby x is the what is the index. And then it's still to the power of 1. So what kind of a function is this one? This one we call it an exponential function. Because the variable is on the what? On the exponent. Let's take the following as an activity then. Yes.
Let's check it.